The most radical acts often begin in the most ordinary places. We think of revolution as noise and fire, but sometimes it's just one person living differently. This is the story of a life that redefined what it means to be truly free and truly human.
2,000 years ago, the world was steeped in structures of power, expectation, and fear. In a small, occupied land, a young man named Jesus grew up, a carpenter from Nazareth. He was taught the traditions, the rules, the weight of history. But he saw something more in the quiet moments.
His message wasn't just another philosophy. It was a complete inversion of the societal pyramid. The winners were told to serve. The marginalized were welcomed to the front row. To a culture obsessed with status and success, Jesus spoke of radical empathy, a love that embraced the people the system had forgotten.
Imagine living in a world of relentless pressure, the pressure to earn more, achieve more, be more, the fear of being left behind. Jesus looked at that same human anxiety and offered a profound alternative. Do not worry. He pointed to the birds and the lilies. His lesson? Your intrinsic worth is not based on your performance.
His teachings weren't abstract theories, they were practical, everyday challenges. The story of the Good Samaritan, a man despised by society who stops to help a stranger, was a direct confrontation to tribalism. It wasn't about who you agree with, it was about who you serve.
He said, "Love your neighbor as yourself." In a world divided by politics, income brackets, and social media bubbles, this command remains the ultimate disruptive technology. It demands that we see past the label and acknowledge the shared humanity, the self, in the eyes of another.
He performed acts of profound compassion, healing the sick, feeding thousands, offering a fresh start to those branded as failures. Each miracle wasn't just a spectacle. It was a demonstration of a kingdom where brokenness is acknowledged and healing is always possible.
But a revolutionary who challenges the very definition of power will always face resistance. As Jesus' following grew, so did the fear of the established authorities. His insistence on inner truth over outward show, on genuine mercy over rigid law, was a threat to the status quo.
He walked willingly into the center of the conflict. In his final hours, he broke bread with his friends, a simple, powerful act of community. He offered them a new covenant, an enduring promise of presence, even when he was physically gone.
The betrayal, the arrest, the trial. It was a spectacle of injustice, a raw display of how quickly fear and political expediency can crush compassion. Yet, through it all, Jesus maintained a silence more powerful than any defense. He had already spoken his truth.
The cross, the ultimate symbol of state execution. But for his followers, it became something else entirely. It became the ultimate statement of sacrificial love. The idea that life's highest purpose is not in gaining everything, but in giving everything, even one's own life, for others.
And then the impossible, the empty tomb, the resurrection. For those who had lost everything, this was not just a miracle. It was the ultimate proof that love is stronger than death, that hope is eternal, and that broken systems do not get the final word.
The movement he started wasn't a political party or an economic system. It was a community of the transformed. Ordinary people, fishermen, skeptics, former persecutors, suddenly empowered to live out that radical empathy, that confounding love in a world that desperately needed it.
2,000 years later, the message resonates across every landscape, including the hustle and aspiration of the American experience. It challenges us to look beyond consumerism and competition and to measure our lives not by our net worth, but by our generosity of spirit.
The story of Jesus is the story of choosing a different path. It's an invitation to a life lived fully, fearlessly, and for others. A life where the greatest power is humble service, and the true mark of success is the depth of your compassion. His story isn't just history. It's a lens through which to see your own life and the world right now.